Hey, everybody. What's going on? It's Charles again. Once again, dropping in for a another synopsis of our training we had today. Um, Dispatcher 101 training for beginners. We went over mock cold calling to the carriers, and we went over mock cold calling to the brokers to book the loads. So that's what we had in our training today. Okay, let me make a copy of this, paste this to the chat. Salt and Light Sense, good evening. Thanks so much. Were you in the training today, Salt and Light Sense? Just want to make sure I'm pronouncing your uh, correctly. So today we in our Dispatcher 101 seminar, webinar training, and our basics training that we usually have on Saturdays at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Today we had a basics concept. Dmitrisky, I'm doing okay. How are you? Today we went over mock. We had a dispatcher, and she did very well. Called. Her name was Avia or Avia. Um, she called me. I pretended to be a carrier, and I was of the drive-in category. And she called me um, as a dispatcher, trying to get my business right. So she did everything correct in the cold call concept. So, hey, LaDonna, how are you? Thank you. So she called, and after the call, we kind of assessed the phone call, and we have experts in there in the call center field, in the customer service field, in the corporate field. So that critiqued what she did. She did a great job. And also in the process, we started to talk about um, different web forms and ways to get your dispatcher agreement out quicker to the carrier so that you can get them signed up quicker, streamline the process. And to continue with Avia's call, I pretended then to be a broker and she was a dispatcher again, calling on a particular load. We looked up a load. I was in Joliet, Illinois with a drive-in trying to go down to Atlanta. And we actually found one specifically going down there for $3,000. She charged 5%. So we rolled her 5% of that, which is what is $3,000. What is 5% of $3,000? Someone do the math. 5% of $3,000 is what she would have invoiced that carrier for had she booked the load for the carrier, right? So someone can type that number in: $3,000 times 5%. That's what she invoiced the carrier for. And we went through the process of what the dialogue would be between the broker and the dispatcher calling on behalf of their carrier. So she called about the load, asking about, she's wondering if a load is still available, picking up in Joliet, going down to Atlanta. That's right, Brittany Gardner, $150. So after that carrier delivered that load and gotten paid either through their factoring company or from one of the payment options of the broker, then the dispatcher would invoice the carrier for that amount. Okay, so so she called the broker and asked about the load, picking up in Joliet, going to Atlanta. Is it still available? Broker said, yes, it is. Let me check my system. Yes, it is. By the way, what's your MC? This is the normal dialogue that a broker will have when they're trying to see if a carrier, whether or not the carrier or the dispatcher representing the carrier, is set up or an approved carrier under their brokerage. That's the first process. A broker needs to check to verify if the carrier is set up with them. So gave the MC number. We made up a number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. Brokers will look in their systems to verify whether a carrier is an approved carrier with them or not. We went with the scenario that they were not. So we said, okay, I played the role of the broker, said, hey, that's not a problem. You're not in our system. You're not an approved carrier, but that's not a problem. Who do I send the carrier packet, broker carrier agreement, onboard packet, setup packet? They're all the same thing. It is literally though called a broker carrier agreement. So who do I send this to? Right? And this is the broker asking the dispatcher on the phone. So as a dispatcher representing your carrier, when you are talking to a broker and the broker asks you, who do I send the carrier packet to? Who do you guys think in your minds should that broker email that packet, that setup packet, that onboard packet, that carrier packet to? Who do you guys think? And I will wait. Dispatcher, very good, Keisha B. Why? Because the dispatcher is the one who is in the process right now speaking to the broker about the load for their client, the carrier. So the broker, me, talking with Avia, the dispatcher in this example today, sent her a carrier packet, a broker carrier agreement, setup packet, onboard packet, sent it to her. She filled it out, representing her carrier, sent that back to the broker. By the way, the broker asks too, well, I threw this monkey wrench, I guess, if you will, into the equation. I said, hey, when you send that back, can you list our brokerage as a certificate holder? Okay. So we threw that in there too, just to see how people would react. Well, what is a certificate holder? What does that mean? So we did that. And so the dispatcher, Avia, she would have filled out the broker carrier agreement representing her carrier, sent that back to the brokerage, along with, because in most cases, when you're onboarding your carrier, most brokers want to have a copy of your carrier's credentials, namely the copy of the carrier's MC authority letter or the certificate saying that they are a motor carrier, that they are legal, that they are a common or a contracted carrier of property except household goods. That, number one. Number two, a copy of their W-9 to say that they're legal. They have a business company with an EIN, a business name with an EIN attached to that, whether it's LLC, sole prop, S Corp, C Corp. Number three, certificate of insurance, saying that they have an adequate minimum coverage required for cargo as well as liability. Cargo these days are 100,000. Liability that covers BI and PD is 1 million. BI is bodily injury. PD is property damage. And then if the carrier has a factoring company, then a notice of assignment will be sent over from the factoring company to the broker to assign payment from the broker to the carrier to the broker to the factoring company. Okay. So as a dispatcher, when you initially get your carrier under a dispatcher agreement, a contract between you and the carrier, when you send out the dispatcher agreement and your profile for that carrier, they fill it out and send it back. Have them send you copies of their MC authority letter, W-9, certificate of insurance, and an NOA form, a notice of assignment, if they have a factory company. That way, you have those things in your possession as a dispatch business representing your carrier, along with the dispatcher agreement and the profile. The dispatcher agreement and profile just locks you in a contract. You're going to use the profile to kind of cater your load search according to that profile. So say, for example, you have a carrier who sent you a dispatch agreement, the other documents, the credentials, and the profile back. The profile sheet says, I'm a dry-man carrier. I want $2.50 a mile. I want to haul no more than 40,000 pounds on my trailer. I only want to stay in the Midwest, Southeast, and Southwest. I don't want to go to the Northeast or deal with the tolls. I don't want to go west of the Rocky Mountains, and things of that nature. So you cater your load search according to that profile. And when you find loads that meet the qualifications of that profile, then you let the carrier know, hey, I found you a load. When will you be empty? Or are you empty now? Things of that nature, okay? So back to the broker situation. So Avia, acting as a dispatcher, calling me the broker, she filled out the broker carrier agreement, sent that in, sent in copies of the credentials of the carrier. Remember what they are: MC authority letter, W-9, certificate of insurance, and NOA, so that the broker can take those documents and internalize them into their brokerage to approve that carrier or not, right? They need these documents to verify and run it through compliance and verify that this is a good carrier in order to approve the carrier to be under that brokerage, to be set up with that brokerage. When you're set up with a brokerage, that means that when your carrier is set up with a brokerage, that means that they are an approved carrier according to the credentials and the qualifications of that specific brokerage. So that's the first half of the broker relationship with the dispatcher as far as paperwork. You're approved. The second half is the rate confirmation that the broker is going to send to the dispatcher / carrier after the carrier has been approved by that brokerage. So say you sent all that paperwork in with the broker carrier agreement and your carrier was approved by that broker some 30 minutes later, the broker's going to call you and say, hey, man, well, ma'am, your carrier's been approved. Now let me send you a rate confirmation and let's discuss this specific load that you were referring to and make sure that we agree with the numbers and all the special requirements and stuff like that. So the broker carrier agreement between you and the broker, Mr. Dispatcher or Miss Dispatcher, gets your carrier approved and set up with a brokerage. It doesn't get the load moved yet. The rate confirmation is what officially books that load, okay? Officially books the load with that specific, on that load board and with that specific brokerage at that specific point in time. And any other loads going forward, there will be other rate confirmations. You only need to get approved by each specific brokerage that you send your carrier to one time. You only need to do a broker carrier packet, broker carrier agreement, setup packet, onboard packet, things like that with a broker one time. But after you get approved one time with that brokerage, every load that broker has on the load board, after you got approved, you got to do a rate confirmation for the specific load so you can be approved to move the load. But you don't have to do a carrier packet for every time you see that same broker on that load board for a specific load. You only got to get approved one time with the packet. But with the rate confirmation for every load that you book with that specific broker, you have to do a rate confirmation and agree to the numbers, special requirements, special instructions, things like that before you sign it. Because once you sign that rate confirmation and send that back to the broker, then the load is considered officially booked and your carrier can be dispatched to go to the shipper to pick the load up. Okay, that's how that works. Any questions? So I just gave a synopsis of what we did today in our 2-hour and 16-minute live training today earlier. Okay. Hopefully you guys understood that. I didn't want to confuse you guys too much of what we went over, but that's the broker relationship. We did a mock call and things of that nature. All right. So it doesn't look like we have any questions, which is cool. We can go ahead and get off of this stream a little bit earlier. I'm trying to, in the process of keeping you guys updated, some 11,000 subscribers to this Dispatcher 101 Training for Beginners YouTube channel who are not members enrolled in our ongoing Dispatcher 101 Training for Beginners, nor are you members of our private Facebook Dispatcher 101 members only group, where I just posted a dedicated lane with the U.S. Postal Service for dry vans in the Northeast with the busy season getting ready to come into play. So those are gems that we drop only for our group. I apologize, but you have to be enrolled for that. I I do have one question, Consultatious Rice said, but it's off topic from what you just discussed. If the numbers you have posted, your direct number or business number, that is the number I have posted is my number, this phone right here, business/personal. So, which is, and ask your question, your off topic question, Ms. Rice, if you like. Can owner operators have more than one? Of course, owner operators can have more than one dispatcher. The one that they choose to work with on that specific load, then they will be bound to pay them according to that dispatch agreement for that specific point in time for that specific dispatcher. But yeah, it would be wise for an owner operator to have more than one dispatcher until they get a dispatcher that can consistently keep them running on how they want to run. That way you don't put all your eggs in one basket starting out. So how can I join the group? Tiffany Chapman, which group are you referring to? The Facebook members only group? If you are an enrolled member in our ongoing Dispatcher 101 training for beginners, then you are automatically qualified to be into the Facebook group. There is another Facebook group, Dispatcher 101, but that's not members only. That's just anybody coming in there, going back and forth. And we're kind of like phasing that out too anyway. But the members only group are for people who are enrolled in our training, our ongoing training. Okay. Someone asked what time you close, because I want to call, headed to the hospital with my son. Okay. You can call me, you can text me. I don't know how long you'll be with the son. You can text me later on or early tomorrow before I train at 11. So yeah. Thank you. You've mentioned us needing to have a fax number, but don't most people email? Yeah, you can do it on what's called an e-fax, Ms. Rice. You can do an e-fax, which will be a number in front of, the number will be in the front and it will forward to an email in the back end. So you send out the fax number. When somebody sends a fax through that number, it's going to be associated with your email on the back end. So you literally don't have to have a fax line, an RJ45 phone line in your wall at your house, a landline. You can have an email account connected to your eFax account, which has a front end phone number. Okay. Also, do I need LLC to be dispatcher? You need a business structure. Now, it may not be an LLC, but it be something. A sole prop, LLC, S Corp, C Corp. So if you want to operate, if you want to behave as a business owner, then you would need some type of legal business structure for that. Okay. Ms. Chapman said, okay, no, I'm new to your YouTube page. Okay, that's fine. Can you also break down how our dispatcher fee is calculated and what's the average pay for an entry-level dispatcher can make in a week? Certainly. So can you break down our dispatcher fees calculated? So dispatcher fee. So let me give you an example of that, Courtney McKee. I was reading the other question. Do you cover starting your business as a dispatcher? We have information. We don't help you start your business, hold your hand, but we have resources that you can point to do that for you. Okay. So with the question with Courtney McKee, can you break down our dispatcher fee, how it's calculated? So if you find a load for a carrier and $5,000, the average range for a dispatcher is between 5 and 10%. So let's say you charge the middle range, and you can determine yours based off of what you think your experience level is. I usually tell people if you're brand new, I would say 5 to 7. If you got some season under you, some experience under you, maybe 8 to 10. So most people say, well, let's meet in the middle, 7%. $5,000 times 7% is $350. So if you book a load for a carrier, your percentage is coming off the gross amount, not the net amount, like after fuel and insurance and after everything else is paid. It's coming off the gross that was posted on the load board by the broker. Okay. So, and then you would try to negotiate by adding a higher rate. You should try to negotiate a higher rate by adding what you just calculated, 5% or 7%, of $5,000 on top of that $5,000. So 7% of 5,000 is 350. You would add that to the 5,000, so that's 5,350. So you would say, Mr. Broker, we can do it for 5,400, 5,450, 5,500. You want to go higher because brokers are going to try to negotiate you down. So you don't want them to come below your threshold. What is your threshold? Well, it is whatever you calculated your percentage plus whatever that posted rate was. In this case, it was $5,000 times 7%, which is $350. So it was $5,350. So never let the broker take you below your threshold because you want to get your $350 plus the $5,000 to the carrier. That's why you have to start with a higher number and try to go down, but try not to have the broker come below your threshold. Okay. And let's see. Also, what's the average pay for an entry-level dispatcher can make a week? If you got one carrier, this is the second part of Courtney's question. If you have one carrier, let's say, and you book 3 loads a week for them, pick up on Monday, deliver Wednesday, pick up on Wednesday, deliver Friday, pick up on Friday, deliver the following Monday. And if each load pays on average, let's say $2,000, pretty simple load to do, right? 3 loads, $2,000 each, $6,000 a week. And you charge 7%, 8%, whatever the percentage is. So $6,000 times 8%, 6 times $480 for that one carrier for the week. How many carriers do you think you can handle dispatching by yourself before you have to scale your business and add other dispatchers? 3, 4, 5. Let's say 5. And let's say you put those 5 carriers with the same equipment type in the same lane that's paying the same amount as the first carrier. So you got $6,000 times, let's just use a round number, 10%, just to make the numbers easier. 10% of 6,000 is 600. You got 5 carriers you're doing that for. 600 times 5 is 3,000 a week gross to you, right? So that's what you can do if you have 5 carriers. Now remember, you have to build to that point first. One carrier at a time, doing it the right way at a time, one at a time, okay? And you can scale your business gradually and you'll see those numbers come up, okay? I do help on my, okay, I'm just now getting started. This is abracadabra. I'm just now getting started with my brokerage company. I need to know what software to get in order to get payments, paperwork taken care of. You need what's called a TMS system, transportation management software. The cheaper versions is Load Manager or Ascend. There are some other ones, Algex, Axis, eFreight Solutions, Load Pilot. But the cheaper ones, because as a new broker, you want to keep your overhead low, right? You want to keep your expenses low. So look into Ascend, I'll put it in the ASCEND, Ascend or Load Manager, okay? Google those and see the price points of those, okay? And that'll give you a good starting point, abracadabra. When is the best day to start your $399 program? Whenever you enroll. We train, Courtney McKee, we train 3 days a week. Now, next week, the 16th through that whole week, I'll be on vacation with my wife. It's her birthday week on Wednesday, so I will not be doing any live trainings, but those members will still have access to the back office because the back office portal is always access to the members. It's ongoing trainings, self-paced, learn as you go, okay? But yeah, whenever you enroll, you just jump right in, self-paced, and then attend the live trainings to get your questions answered, right? And go from there. Do we need to purchase our own load boards during the training? And if we choose to do ongoing training, will we still have access to the load boards from the training? Yes. The ongoing training includes about 6 load boards, but you're more than welcome to purchase your own load boards. That's fine, but you get access to our load boards as part of the training, as part of the $19.99 monthly subscription. That includes access to the load boards and other things, our form templates, our documents, our live trainings 3 days a week, our training videos recorded in our training videos library, access to our private members only Facebook group with more gems, ebooks, glossaries, resources and tools, forms and documents. You can maintain a monthly subscription for up to a year. It shouldn't take you a year to learn how to dispatch it, but we extended that courtesy. As long as you initially enroll at $3.99, 1 month after the enrollment date, the monthly subscription starts, and you can do that monthly for as long as you need. Initial enrollment, $3.99, access instantly, okay? And then you have that 30-day cushion to see if you like what you see in the back office. And once you get that first invoice, you say, hey, I'm going to pay this monthly to do another month, and then I'm done after that. And then we'll just, cut your access off if you don't no longer want to continue to pay the monthly. So that's perfectly fine. Enroll, you get access day one if you follow the welcome email once we send you the welcome email after enrollment. Okay. Do I need to have my dispatcher agreement notarized, or does my carrier need to do it? The carrier notarizes it, because the carrier needs to notarize what's called the limited power of attorney portion on the dispatcher agreement. The name is Tater Bugs Dad 1. So yeah, it's the carrier that needs to notarize, because the carrier is giving you, the dispatcher, authorization to fill out those forms on the broker side on their behalf. So they need to sign that and get a notary verifying that they gave permission. Okay. How do you get an eFax number? Is there a fee or subscription like a regular? Yes. You go to like efax.com, set up a subscription to that, and they'll take you through the steps at that point. Okay. That's how that works. Miss McCoy, for brand new dispatchers, which load boards is the best to have instead of starting off with multiple load boards, which is a greater expense? That, Truck Stop, and 123, those are the top three. You can get the cheaper carrier level load boards for them, but those are the best ones to start with. Then I'll kick in Direct Freight Services. I have that one because of some of the features there. So those are the ones, okay? You're welcome, Abracadabra. I am Tyree. Thanks for that. You're welcome, Keisha B. The best day is now, LL. You will not regret it. Oh, she's saying someone to enroll, I guess. Happy birthday to her. Thank you. Mine is the 23rd. Okay. Jess Grace. Going down the list. What if we want to stay connected with you more than a year? Then we can continue to pay the monthly. So it's up to the year, and then you would have to restart the process again, the re-enrollment in the process again. Because we estimated, or we guesstimated, that initial enrollment and monthly subscriptions for up to a year should be a sufficient amount of time for you to learn dispatching. But if it's not, then you just simply restart that process again, pay the enrollment fee, whatever it is at that point, because the price point may change, and then start that process again. We try to guesstimate that a year should be a sufficient amount of time for you to get the dispatching concept down. Okay. All right. So I think I went through the questions. So again, I'll give a synopsis of what we did today. We did a mock carrier call. A person, a student in our training, Avia, was a dispatcher. She called me, opportunity to be a carrier, and she went through her spiel talking to me. She did a pretty good job too, calling me. Because a lot of people are, and cold calling is just one aspect of how to acquire a carrier. Okay, there are several aspects. Cold calling, visiting the truck stops, text alerts, text blasts, email campaigns, so social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Indeed. Well, not Indeed, I'm sorry, LinkedIn. I apologize. LinkedIn. They got professional. LinkedIn is more of a professional site, but you have owner-operator groups on LinkedIn. You have owner-operator groups on Facebook that you can join and then pitch yourself as a dispatcher. Irene Royal said, I get so many emails for loads. I don't know when or why I should get on a load board. Right. So you're getting emails from loads from brokers or direct shippers. That's a good question. So we'll see. So it's how you get those emails. for the loads. What type of loads are they? Who are the emails coming from? Are they coming from brokers? Are they coming from direct customers? What type of relationship and connection you have to the sender that's sending you those emails? And you can leverage that from either from a dispatching perspective or from a broker's perspective if you plan on being a broker. Do you go over business structure in your dispatch beginners course? Thank you. In a sense, I do, but I usually expect people to have their business structure already set up. If you do not, when I come back on the 25th live, my CPA will be, should be in our live Wednesday night, 6 p.m., August 25th section. I spoke to him and he said he would try to get into that one. But yeah, and we will talk about legal structure, the different types, sole proprietors, we call sole props, LLCs, limited liability corporations or limited liability companies, S corps and C corps, so partnerships and things like that. So, okay. So Irene says she gets those loads from brokers. So what the brokers are trying to do is they're trying to leverage you because you are a dispatcher. You may have access to carriers who may have a need to run in the lanes of those loads, Irene. That's probably why they're getting it from you. They're just posting. And those loads they're probably giving to you, they may be stale loads because they may be having a hard time getting those loads moved. And they want to see as many resources that they can use to get those loads out there. That could be the case. The rates of the loads may or may not be good in those lanes. You would have to see what the equipment types are. There's several aspects of that. So load board is the spot market. That is correct. As a dispatcher, can we build relationships with shippers or is that crossing the boundaries? No. You can represent your carrier or the carrier's trucking company approaching the shippers, but just that's a slippery slope you don't want to go down as much, but mainly deal with the spot market starting out, which are the posted loads on the load boards are the spot market rates coming from the brokers mainly. But if you happen to get shippers who deal directly with trucking companies or carriers, and you happen to run into that, then by all means take advantage of that because it eliminates the middleman, which is the broker. So more of the money goes to the carrier and you get more of your percentage or your flat rate. So do we dispatch under you or go straight into our own dispatching company with your training? You go straight into your own dispatching company through this training. I no longer have a dispatching company. I no longer have a sub-dispatching division. I used to, and I'm considering bringing it back. But right now, I'm mainly focused on training you guys in what I know. And from there, right, on the dispatching side, as well as the broker side, I do also have freight broker training as well. So, okay. All right, guys. Great questions. Great questions. Hopefully the answers are helping you guys. Again, I got 11,200, I think, subscribers on this YouTube channel. I would imagine if 1/2 or 1% of you guys would enroll in the course, at some point, I'm thinking you guys are considering, you're just probably searching for an avenue to be your own boss. And you discovered that the transportation industry offers that possibility, right? So I'm sure you're searching different channels, getting different people speaking and giving you different information and advice, which is great. So you're going to make your decision based off of what you hear and what you receive and how much of that you understand. My job as an instructor is to assist you in that journey, right? So hopefully I answer your questions as far as that is concerned to help you make an informed decision, whether it's with us at Exodus Logistics Learning Center or someone else. I just want to make sure that you guys, if you are choosing the transportation industry specifically or particularly and dispatching specifically, then you just choose the best trainer or the best course you feel that can help you, right? My course is catered towards those who know very little, if anything, about being an independent freight dispatcher. That is my job. I chose in this part of the industry to reach out to those who need to get it from a very basics perspective. So if you or someone you know who is on this channel, subscribed, who is looking for that type of entry into the industry, If I was someone who didn't know anything about it, I would want a basic level understanding. I would not be able to understand the language and the jargon for someone who's speaking from an advanced or even an intermediate level, right? I would want to have it at the level where I am at, where I understand. So keep that in mind. So, and I wish you luck on your journey to finding out whoever is going to be your instructor. Okay. Says I'm enrolled. Whoever isn't needs to be. Great information and networking. Do you have a video on getting started? Yes, everything's on the YouTube channel. And then on the website, in certain areas, we have YouTube videos explaining that specific link. So, and let me see if I put the website there, link again. There you go. Reading some other stuff, searching for the right course, and ultimately want to be a broker. I think you're it. Well, I appreciate that. I have a dispatching 101 training for beginner side and a freight broker 101 training for beginner side, and we teach it from the basics level. On the freight broker side, we go through the form, the OP1 form that you go to the fmcsa.dot.gov website, and we go through that form line by line, section by section, filling it out and going over what the next steps are. So we go through that specifically. So I have a question. Do we pay full fee if we take this course and choose to switch to brokerage? So here is the benefit of my course, since I am the instructor on both sides. If you enroll in the Dispatcher 101 training at $399, and then let's say after a year or maybe 6 months or something, you decide you want to enroll in the freight broker training for beginners at $599, I will deduct the $399 that you paid for the dispatching side from the $599 cost of the freight broker side, which is only a $200 difference now. So I would just invoice you for $200. So it's not like you paid $399 for the dispatching side and then have to pay another $599 for the freight broker course. It's the same concept in my seminars to the ongoing paradigm, where if you pay for a $99 seminar for the dispatching and you want to enroll in the ongoing, I deduct the $99 that you paid for the seminar from the cost of the $399 ongoing dispatching training. So the same concept applies. I'm not trying to take your money, guys. I'm trying to assist, trying to help. Okay. So let's see. Hey, Jay, Miss Lady, get plenty of rest. You found the right one. Yes, I second that. Okay. All right, guys. So doesn't seem like there's any more questions. I didn't even do a freight broker live yet. Because I had the training last night. I'll probably do a freight broker live. But any more questions, guys? Just wanted to come in and again to recap, give you a synopsis of today's training in our live Dispatcher 101 training for beginners. We went over a mock carrier call from a dispatcher to a carrier and what all that entails. We critiqued it. It was very good. And then we did a mock dispatcher to a freight broker call and went through that process and what all that entails. And that was good as well. Okay. So again, I can be reached at 757-515-1684, which I'm typing here again, and as well as the email, exoduslogisticsllc at yahoo.com. So is there still a $20 a month fee after the freight broker fee? This year there is not, but there will be a fee on the freight broker side starting in the year 2022 because I'm adding some features to the freight broker side. It's going to be kind of revolutionary. So yeah. And then for this channel, I can announce that right now as we close out tonight. In the month of September, anyone who's interested in enrolling in the Dispatcher 101 training for beginners, ongoing training at $399, there will be, if you are a subscription person to the YouTube channel, you will get a 20% discount. to enroll. So I just need to verify that you are a subscription-based member, because anybody can just do that. And then I would have to invoice a special invoice for 20% difference of the $399. I think it's like $80 off. So it's like $319 plus tax. You guys have to remember that. I'm in Virginia, it's a Commonwealth, and I still have to, as a business owner, I have to charge tax. So, but you get an $80 savings off of a already inexpensive way to train people to be dispatchers. So, do you offer mentoring only? If so, what's the price? Not necessarily mentoring. I do consultations, and let me give you the link to that, because I don't have the time. That's one of the main reasons for the mentoring. But I do one-on-one consultations, 30-minute and 60-minute phone calls, and 30 and 60-minute Zoom consultations on the dispatcher as well as the freight broker side. And the link right there for the price points. Okay. So those are separate price points to those consultations. Right? Matter of fact, I just had an hour consultation prior from 5 to 6 prior to getting on this live with a individual who is a carrier. So okay. All right, guys. So announce again in the month of September, the 20% discount to the subscribers of the YouTube channel who are interested in taking the $399 dispatcher one-on-one training for beginners. I'm going to actually do a post on here as well. I may get my copy person to create me a post as well. So any final thoughts, questions before we wrap it up, guys? So we got the synopsis of what we did today in training. We announced a special offer in the month of September. And in the month of December, which is my birthday month, I will probably extend a half off price, 50% off for dispatch training, because that's my birthday month. My birthday is December 24th. Don't hold it against me, but yeah, okay. I will be 51, so half a century plus 1. All right. All right. No final questions. That's fine. All right, guys, this will be on the YouTube channel. It is a public live stream. So, okay. All right, guys, thank you very much. I will salute to you guys, and God bless you. You guys be safe out there. For those of you who are in here now who are members of the ongoing training, I will see you guys tomorrow, which is our last day of live training for another week until I get back from the vacation with the wife. But I will see you tomorrow for our intermediate training at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay? God bless you guys. Be safe.